Welcome to a Friday fireside chat, not in front of the fire, but in front of the blackboard here. And I want to go over something that I've talked about before, but I had another example of it. And I'm really just using the example as more so a framework so that I have a real world example of what I'm talking about. And this is also me just talking to myself and reminding myself of things because I'm always learning about new things. I'm always pursuing pathways that I really have no idea how it all works. So again, this is not me, proclaiming or preaching down at anybody. I'm reminding myself of these very same things because when you go about situations in a certain manner, well, they really don't make any sense, but worse yet, they're not going to get you to where you want to go because if you approach it with this sort of mentality, well, you're not setting yourself up to succeed. Now, of course, as it comes to this channel, this would all be around trading and the markets and all that good stuff. But again, this general concept can be applied to anything when you're trying to learn. Or in other words, this is just a really bad learning attitude to have, and it's a really dangerous one because you're going to hold yourself back and you're going to essentially kind of almost make yourself unteachable. Now, of course, I'm not going to say it's impossible, but you're making things a whole lot more difficult than what it needs to be. So to kind of set this up, I wanted to go through a little scenario here. So let's say we have two people. We have somebody that is new, and we have somebody that has experience. And there's some sort of concept out there. There's so we'll just put there's a concept between the two of them. And the question becomes, so the question is, all right, well, for this concept, who are you going to listen to? Are you going to listen to the new person or are you going to listen to the experienced person? Now, I realize hopefully this is kind of stupid right now. And you're thinking, well, Clay, why would I listen to the new person about a concept when there's an experienced person that has, experience with that concept? Exactly, right? It would make sense to want to listen to the person that has experience rather than somebody that is new. Why? Well, think about it. When you're new, do you really know anything about the concept? Of course not. You don't know anything about the concept. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you need to know. I mean, you are new. And again, there is nothing wrong with being new. We all start out as new. So that's why you want to listen to a new person, right? So then I'm going to get through an exchange and I want to show you exactly kind of where the pitfalls exist when it comes to you have kind of a choice, new or an experience, and then you have this interaction here. So let me grab my phone. So this comes from a YouTube video, and the video is, hey, how to get started trading. And the idea is literally the first thing you need to do when you get started trading is get your mindset right. That is step one. Because if you don't have your mindset right in terms of expectations that are aligned with reality, then it doesn't matter what software you use. It doesn't matter what broker you use. It doesn't matter what strategy. Nothing matters because if you are thinking trading is something other than what it actually is, or you have some sort of false impression, or if you have some sort of goal that doesn't really make sense, then everything else is going to crumble around it. So that is why literally the first thing is, how do I get started trading? You get your mindset right. You set your expectations in line with reality. So that's what I talked about in the video here was, hey, how do you get started trading? And I talked all about the mindset and just pretty much saying you better have a realistic attitude about what goes into all this. So then this person replies back, so where in this video do you tell people how to start trading? Boring video and complete clickbait. And I reply back, I did tell you how. You start by getting the proper mindset and aligning your expectations with reality. So I'm well aware here of what's going on. We have an issue here of get started, right? I know you're thinking, because you're an intelligent person, well, Clay, they had a different definition of how to get started. So that's what they're talking about, because if your video was titled how to get started trading, well, they expected something else going in. And that's fine. That's a fair point. My point is it goes back to this, is, okay, well, who do you think has the actual understanding? Who do you think would have the reasoning of how to actually define get started? Would it be the new person? Or would it be somebody with experience? And of course, if you have experience, you're going to know how to better define. You're going to be better qualified to define how things are. I'm not refuting the fact, yeah, getting started in the world of trading, I mean, you could let them be like, well, no, getting started means what broker do I sign up for? But even that, I get why you would think that, but getting a broker or having that being defined as how do you get started, that's one of the last things you should do is get a broker. Why? Well, because you first need to figure out your goals, strategies, what you want to trade. Let's just say that you're like, wow, I really like Forex trading, the trading of currencies. And you know what? Through my practicing, through my for my paper trading, I'm actually really good at it. So I want to do Forex trading. Awesome. So then would it make sense to go and have some sort of broker that specializes in options? Of course not. But if you go and you think that getting started is, well, what broker do I need? I don't know what broker you need. What do you want to do? And I get it. A lot of people do define getting started in trading as, well, yeah, the first thing you need to do is a broker. But again, in all actuality, that's one of the last things you need, because you're not going to know what broker you need until you know what you're trading, what your strategy is. If you decide that you want to be some sort of, more so broader swing trader where you hold a few days, then you would not need to go and you would not want to go and sign up for a broker that specializes in micro day trading. Like a Lightspeed, for example, the broker I use, that is definitely a direct access. It's for high volume day traders. That they're not a swing trading broker. So that's why getting started, I get it. There are many ways to look at it. But my point is, and what I'm talking to myself is, when you are new to a situation, you need to step back and be able to say to yourself, you know what? Maybe I don't know how to properly define a concept. I get it. You may think, and I may think as I go into something that I know how a concept is or how a concept should be defined, but I'm new, right? So I've got to realize that I need to take the back seat and say my definition very well could be wrong or it could be misplaced. Once again, I'm not saying my definition is illogical. Just like if you're saying, wait, getting started, the first thing you would want to do is get a broker. That is very logical. But just because something's logical, and that's the cruel part about the markets, is it doesn't mean that it's necessarily right. So I'm not calling anybody stupid. I'm just saying you need to be aware and you need to be willing to admit to yourself that just because your thought process is logical doesn't mean that it's right. And how do you know if you're new, then how do you actually know? Now, I do assume, I assume this because I know most people, they get it, they show up, and for that video are saying, oh, wow, yeah, that's really good. I appreciate that because I was kind of skipping over that, and so that does make sense. But there's always some people who are like, well, no, this video was stupid because it didn't tell me anything about getting started. Well, yeah, maybe it didn't tell you to go and get a broker and go and do what you thought, but the ironic part is that's exactly why. Because if you go in with false misunderstandings, or you go in with not understanding things the right way, then you're already putting yourself behind the 8 ball. So if you go into the market saying, hey, getting started means you need a broker, that's got headaches written all over it. And I see it all the time. I see people, hey, I'm using Robinhood, and then they tell me more about their strategy, and I'm thinking, listen, I understand why you are using Robinhood, but no wonder why you're struggling. No wonder why you're losing money, because you're going totally backwards. The strategy that you're doing, that's fine, but Robinhood is not the broker to execute that strategy. But because that person probably thought getting started meant, well, the first thing you need to do is find a broker, and I'm using Robinhood, they're fitting square pegs through round holes. So that's all I would remind you of, and I'm reminding myself of, is when you are new, for the same reason why in this situation, that's why I want to start off, would you listen to the new person or the experienced person? Well, of course you'd listen to the experienced person. So when you are new, why are you listening to yourself? Why are you saying, no, I know how to define this, the concept? Or in our situation, no, I know how to define get started. But you're new. So why are you listening to yourself when you're new? That doesn't make any sense. So keep that in mind. And like I said, I still struggle with this every now and then when I'm pursuing, I'm saying, well, that wasn't right. But then I have to wait a second. Who am I to say how this should actually be defined? It's kind of like me if I was starting to lecture Nate in like IT stuff. It's like, wait, do I actually know what that should mean? Sure, maybe I think I might know, but I don't. And like I said, I'm not perfect at it. But just keep that in mind when you're out there learning, is that you're new. Accept the fact that you're new, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It becomes wrong, though, when you start to tell people that are experienced what things actually mean and how things should actually be defined. That right there is borderline becoming, uncoachable, and that's what you want to avoid. So hopefully, like I said, this is obvious to most of you, but just want to get it out there because it's something that can make a very big difference in your learning journey. First off, thanks so much for watching the entire video. Real quick, before you go, I want to invite you to a live webinar, web class, training, workshop, online event, whatever you want to call it, but it will be me live revealing to you what I've discovered that has allowed me to transform myself from being an employee to being my own boss, including how I had only one losing day out of 73 days in total. I'm going to cover 3 keys that have helped me unlock profitable consistency within the markets. The first key is super weird, but in a productive type of way. The second key is super awesome because it quite literally is wired into our DNA as humans, making it very easy to use. But in a cruel way, this becomes a pitfall for many traders. I'll explain it all though, including how to avoid the pitfall that it creates for some. And yeah, the third key, when you hear it, sounds way too good to be true, but it's not, and I'll show you how it all works. Then at the end, I open it up for a question and answer session that is, again, totally live. Even if you can't make the live session, please still sign up as it will be recorded, and you can go back and watch the replay that I will send you. Click the image on the screen or click the link down in the description box so you can get the date and time and claim your spot, which I should note is limited due to the fact that this truly is a live event. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll be seeing you soon.